What's up guys, Zach with Wired Customs, and today I'm going to show you how to put spark plug wires on from scratch on your Flathead Ford Distributor. Alright, so this is a really nice kit I got from Millworks This is the Stromberg kit where you make your own spark plug wires. One end is pre-made for the crab distributor already. The second end is not made, so you can make it whatever length that you need to make your wires routing look really nice and clean. On my wire routing, I'm going to be running through these beautiful stainless steel tubes and have this a really nice, clean spark plug wire routing. So we're going to have to strip these, crimp these, old school way, and I'm going to show you how it's done. So the distributor that we have is the Stromberg eFire. This is awesome. It's Protronix, very, very easy to set up. It is 12 volts, and all we have is a positive wire and a ground wire that has to go to the coil, positive side of the coil, ground side of the coil. Very simple setup. That's all that needs wiring wise. Now we're going to make our wires to come off the distributor cap to the spark plugs. I've already made the wire for the coil, so the very topmost wire on the eFire's distributor is the coil wire. Alright, so the very first thing I want to do is get all my spark plug wires out of the box, because they are cut close to the length that we need, but then just a little bit longer than what you need. So I don't want to accidentally cut one of the long wires into a short wire when I need that longer wire. So I'm just going to group them up just real quick, get a quick idea which one's the longest. And I like to work my way on the distributor from longest to shortest. So here's my two longest ones. I'm going to pull this out and just organize them in links. So let's real quick go over the firing order for a Flathead Ford. So if you want to know what cylinder is what number, on the left side, the passenger side. Now if we're facing the engine from the outside, from the hood side, looking in, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So on the driver's side, 5, 6, 7, 8. Passenger side, 1, 2, 3, 4. Really, really simple. The firing order is the same as a small block Chevy. So we have, starting from the bottom here, we have 4, 5, 1, 2. Then it's 7, 3, 6, 8. So you kind of see how one is going to have to loop over, the other one's going to have to loop over to get to the other side. 5, the second one to the bottom, is going to have to come over and loop over to this side. 3 on this side is going to have to loop over and come to this side. So just keep a mental note of that. And we're going to go ahead and start feeding our wires through our little wire organizers here, because they're not going to fit in here if we crimp them and try to feed them after the fact. So I'm going to start with the longest ones. That's how I like to begin. And on this side, I'm going to say 4 is the longest one. So I'm going to hook that in. And I'm going to run this down to the very last cylinder, since this is number 4. I'm actually going to run the wire how I want the wire to stay. So I want to make sure I keep a little bit of slack, but not much. So I'm actually going to route these individually. So 4 to 4. Now I'm going to take my second longest one, and that's going to be for number 8. So here's 8 here. Run it through to number 8. Now I think that my second longest one next is 3. 3 is going to be the second one down on the driver's side. So here's the second one down on the driver's side. And this one's going to run across over to 3. So it's going to be this one, the second furthest one. So I want it to sit flat, so just for how I like the look, so I'm going to run it behind the coil wire. Now we're running an electric fan on this. I know that's blasphemy for a lot of people, but that helps us out when it comes to running these. I'm not super concerned of it getting into the generator's fan. Now I'm just going to finish up, because now we're kind of home free when it comes to the lengths. They're all a little bit longer than they need to be. So I'm going to go ahead and grab 7 and run that back. Okay, so I'm going to show you how we crimp these spark plug wires. Now, these are one and done, so if you ever have to take this completely off, you have to either leave them in the housing or cut them if you're going to be replacing them and pull them out of the housing. Because I'm going to strip it and crimp it while it's still in our little organizer housing there. So what I'm going to do is just get a length of how I want this to be. Now, if you wanted to, you could clip this on and you get your length that way. So I'm just going to hold it with my thumb, and what we're going to do is strip this off and peel the wire back on the inside back on itself, then crimp it in here. So when you go to cut the length on this, you need to cut it long enough so you know you're going to cut it, strip back the wire, then fold it back on itself. And I'll show you what that looks like in case I explained it in a complicated way. So I got my length here because I clipped that on there. I know where it needs to go. I'm going to make the wire a length all the way to the spark plug itself, and that's where I'm going to cut it at. And I cut mine with a really sharp Milwaukee hose cutter. So I'm going to put it where that tip of the spark plug wire was. Cut it. And now I'm going to strip it back. Now, how far do you want to strip it? You want to strip it far enough that this inside core wire is touched by this whole piece that we're about to crimp on. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. Now I'm just going to get a sharp razor blade and I'm going to cut the silicone back so I can get to that nickel plated wire on the inside. All I can say about this is be really careful, and you'll feel the difference between the silicone and the plated wire and the nickel covered wire on the inside. It'll feel hard. You should know when to stop cutting. That's the inside you don't want to cut through. That's the side we're going to fold back on itself. Fold it back on itself, and on the top side where the full piece is going to be touching, I'm going to set that on here, and that's going to be smashed on the top. So we won't be crimping that very valuable part of the wire, and I'm just going to crimp it with my nice pliers. So I'm going to fold one side over into itself. Then I'm going to fold the other side over into itself. Then I'm going to smash them down together, just so I know it's a nice snug fit. That's what it looks like when it's done. It's very nice, professional looking. And that's what it's going to look like if you don't want to run boots. Now, if you do want to run boots, I'll show you how to put those on. If you're going to run boots, get some glass cleaner. This is the brand that I always use when I'm putting on hoses, radiator hoses, heater hoses, spark plug boots. This is just going to slide on there nice and easy. Now you could do it the way that I'm doing it here after the fact, or you could do it before and have it sitting up here if you like. It's up to you. I like getting my distance and my routing perfect. That's the exact flow and look that I'm going for. Now that I know that's perfect, then I'll slide the boot on. When the boot's on, the wire is kinked like at a 90-degree angle. You can't really figure out how you like your flow. A bunch of different ways to do this. This is just the way that I like to do it. Now what I'm going to do is just outside of the car, I'm going to fill this up a little bit with this glass cleaner. It's only going to be there for like 5 minutes and it'll evaporate. So this is the brand that I use. And I know the inside of this isn't going to stay wet for years to come. It's just going to stay wet just for my assembly here. Slide this on, and I have that. I look down in there and you can see that it's exactly where it needs to be. And I'm not going to clip it in because I already know it's right because I already had it clipped. I'm going to let it sit there and just let that dry out. Now move on to the next one. All you're going to do is replicate that, do that over and over and over again, and just try to make the wires look nice as possible. But the biggest takeaway, do not cut through that nickel wire on the inside, and make sure you have enough to overlap that whole steel piece that we crimped. So I hope you appreciated that video, guys. I have a lot of content coming out and I'm trying to stick to posting once a week. So if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook as Wired Customs, you'll see that I'm completing a bunch of different tasks, but the videos are really behind compared to what I'm doing in real life. So stay tuned. Everything you've been seeing online is going to get recorded and it's going to get edited and uploaded. That stuff takes more time for me than actually just doing the task. But if you appreciate this video and you want to see more Flathead, early Ford instructional videos, just like the video, subscribe to the channel. You can support my channel just by purchasing wired custom t-shirts. They have the Terminator T800 on the back. That's my company's logo. I also have hats that says get your shift together, and I roll my brims on the back. So it says wired customs on the inside of the brim. Now stop watching this video, get out in the garage and get your shift together.
Learn to deal with the valley, the hills together.